It's Wednesdays with Wade. San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips joins the Blitz every Wednesday for an inside look at your San Antonio Brahmas. Now, here's the Blitz with Wade Phillips.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio sports star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Wednesdays with Wade. Wade Phillips, head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas, joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. And he joins us today without all the Fiesta gear. Fiesta goes on here for about 2 weeks, Coach.
Yeah, I know. I wish we were back in San Antonio this week, but we're on the road. So,
well, I tell you, it was obviously lucky for you. I mean, that whole Fiesta gear, you guys come up.
Look at that. He's got his Fiesta medal still.
I got my medal.
Well, there you go. You're in good shape then.
Now you got, we'll talk about the game in a moment because that was a solid win. I want to talk about the Fiesta activities that you got to participate in and the dance moves of one Coach Wade Phillips.
I don't know if there were dance moves. It's kind of moving around a little bit. But
I don't know, Coach. You look like you had some rhythm.
I don't know about that. My wife and daughter do. My daughter's a professional dancer, so.
Oh, wow.
She didn't get it from me though. So.
I don't want to say that's obvious, Coach, but
yeah, well, you can.
But we did see the movements, whether they were dance moves or not. You look at that. I know, and because you guys are in the hub city and up in Arlington, when you come into town, I was impressed with the outreach that the Brahmas were able to get done on Friday before the game, the amount of events that players and the coaches like you were able to get to. And I know that's important to the UFL, important to you guys as an organization.
Well, it really is. I mean, we are San Antonio Brahmas. I mean, so we want to be as much as we can be a part of the community, and get to see the mayor and the Fiesta stuff. I mean, we're glad to be a part of that.
Coach, there were a lot of good things in the game last week, but we talked obviously a lot about Quentin Dormady, and he stepped up and played well for you.
He really did. He played well for anybody.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, he was one of the best. I think one of the best stats in the league of any quarterback this last week. So, yeah, we talked about it last week. I mean, I had a lot of confidence in him. He had vied for the first team position the whole training camp, and it was a close decision. And so you can see why he's a good player also.
Yeah, he was. It pushed the ball downfield, had a lot of big completions along a 43, ends up with 269 yards, 23 of 37. And I think about, the week before, Garber's had so many passes that were behind the line of scrimmage. Was it just playing to what the other defense is giving you guys, or is that just the difference with having Quentin at quarterback and the ability to go downfield a little bit more aggressively?
Well, there's certainly different quarterbacks, and you have to utilize that. And I think I said going into the game that, Quentin throws a really, really good deep ball. He's got such a strong arm on the shorter routes. He gets the ball quickly where they can get going with the ball. I mean, we had 100-yard receivers in this game, which is, it doesn't happen very often in any league.
Well, no question about that. And it was just a good game from the get-go. You guys kind of jumped out to an early lead, and really Michigan just never let them back in the game, Coach. Would you look at it, and I know every win, all three of them are good, but when you look at this overall from a team performance, would you rate this near the top?
Oh yeah, I think we're getting better. It was a solid performance, like you said. I mean, there was no doubt, really. I mean, there's always doubt, but I guess there was no doubt that we were controlling the game, and we had it well in hand throughout the game.
No, we're talking with Wade Phillips here on the Blitz, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, and we're talking a lot of offensive numbers. But we know Wade Phillips lives on the defensive side. 6 sacks. And the week before, you talked about getting pressure on the quarterback with A.J. McCarron. You got that pressure on the quarterbacks from Michigan, but more importantly, you were able to get them to the ground. Does that excite you more than, say, 2 100-yard receivers?
I don't know. I'm the head coach, so I like things happen certainly. But we got McCarron 3 times now. It wasn't like we didn't get him at all. So, and yeah, we pride ourselves in rushing the passer, and our guys do a great job of that.
Well, Coach, you guys have overcome some adversity, and obviously you're going to have to continue to do that. The offensive line, a little bit banged up. What are the concerns there, and who's got to step up?
Well, I mean, we've lost an offensive lineman almost every week, and then we lost our center for the injury reserve. Then we lost the right tackle injury reserve, and now we lost the left tackle injury reserve. So, but we've had guys come in and play, and even play during the game. They took their place and played well enough for us to play really well offensively.
When you think about, and forgive the ignorance here as I ask this question, but having enough depth, and then when your backups are playing, and then if they get hurt, how do you replace that depth? Because it seems like every week we're dealing with a lot of injuries with the Brahmas, yet you're able to plug in and find players. Where are we finding all these players? Because I know they're not currently on the roster, are they?
No, not all of them, but I mean the ones that came in and played were all on the roster. They were just backup players to the guys we had starting. So, our backup center is now playing, our backup right tackle now playing, and now this week our backup left tackle. Basically had eight offensive linemen to start with, and so we still have five of those 8. But we've added guys to come in that we think can help us either starting or as a backup as we go along here.
Yeah, Wade, how does that work? Is there a pool of players that are out there and available to teams, or do you just have to go find guys?
No, you have to find. Mark Littlebridge, our GM, is an ace at that. I mean, he's found really all the players we have, but he's on top of it. He's talking with either players or agents, or because people are trying to get in touch with you when you have some injuries. So he's on top of that, and has brought in some good people, certainly, that have gone in and played well for us.
Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We call it Wednesdays with Wade. And again, I think we're all learning how things work in the UFL. The NFL draft starts tomorrow and runs through the weekend. For undrafted players that, we're hoping to hear their phone ring this weekend by an NFL team, is it, if it doesn't, for those undrafted guys, are they eligible to be picked up by the Brahmas or any other UFL team?
Yes, they are. I mean, a lot of them. I mean, some guys that we might have had are waiting on the draft, and but once the draft's through, and then of course they're going to sign free agents. But some of them will get left out. Some good players will get left out. So there may be an opportunity to pick up some guys we like there also.
Wade, I know you're dealing with day-to-day stuff, but I want to ask this question because I would value your opinion on it. I've heard a lot of people say that this is just a no-brainer for the NFL, the UFL, and being almost a G League type for the NFL. Would you be in favor of that for the NFL, maybe sending players down like maybe a third-string quarterback, for example, just to get some reps in game action against good talent?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I mean, we work well with the NFL throughout the process, even the merger, after the merger. I mean, we still talk to NFL about a lot of things. Of course, they took our kickoff rule from the XFL. And so, I can see that at some point, they might want to say, hey, we want a guy to play rather than being a backup guy the whole year and not know what he can do. Play some in the UFL. So I wouldn't be surprised that we start working in that at some time.
Well, it would make sense. And his quarterback is the one position, especially the third quarterback. But a lot of those guys, especially offensive linemen, it gets reps. And out of curiosity, Wade, if somebody that or somebody that knows you and reaches out, from an advice standpoint, if you're an undrafted free agent and NFL team, and I know the dream is the NFL, financials aside, although it might be, kind of about the same with some of those undrafted free agent contracts that they get, and basically to be a training camp guy and then get cut, would it be better served for some of those undrafted guys to go to the UFL where they can get playing experience as opposed to just go being a practice body for an NFL team?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know if they think so. It's still the NFL chance to be in the NFL. If they sign them as a free agent, they liable to jump at that. But if they go through the process, like you say, and they really don't have a chance to make it, or they get hurt in training camp or something, then I think they'll start looking to us.
Well, I mean, when you start looking at some of the quarterbacks, and you played against one last week in McCarran, and you've got Matt Corral in the league as well. Some of these guys that were drafted in the NFL, but they're getting some reps, and I think opening some eyes for some of these NFL teams. And it just seems like a no-brainer to me to get those guys some game reps. Having said that, Coach, let me ask you this. Day before the NFL.
You got the no-brainer down really well. So.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate that.
No-brainer, Joe Reinagle.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Day before the draft, Wade, what are you thinking when you were a coach in the NFL on the Wednesday before day one of the NFL draft?
There's a lot of unknowns, certainly. There's a lot of hope that you really have your board set, and to tell the truth, you really know who you want to pick in the first round and probably second, maybe third round. That you've got certain guy that you really would like to get. So a lot of anticipation. The worst one, and it's happened several times in my career, is they picked a guy right before your pick, that you thought you were going to get. So it's pretty exciting. And the fans get into it in the NFL. So it's a fun day. It's a fun day to kind of put all your stuff together and see how it works out and see who takes who. And well, I didn't like him, or that was a smart pick. All those things.
When you see a guy go off the board to another team, are you guys sitting in your room going, "What the hell did they see in that guy that we didn't like? I couldn't believe that happened."
Oh yeah. And of course, every team when they pick, they say we couldn't believe the guy was going to be there, but we got him. So somebody should have believed it.
Now, you think about how busy it is. A day like tomorrow morning, you wake up and call Jerry and say, "Hey, do you want to go get lunch?"
No, well, Jerry called me to go get lunch if he wanted to.
It's going to be fun. Will you guys, especially because I know there's so many NFL guys involved in the UFL. You're all up there in Arlington. I know you're getting ready for games this week, but are you just like a bunch of us guys? We're going to gather around at a local bar and go watch the draft and talk about it as every pick comes off the board?
Not every pick. I mean, and really we don't have as much. When you're in it, you have information on all the players and who you think's good. And I don't know. I don't know much about the players being drafted except for Caleb Williams or somebody like that. But I mean, and especially second and third round guys, I don't know much about. My interest is with Minnesota, because my son is offensive coordinator with the Vikings. So I just, I'll certainly check out who they got and probably talk to him, after they picked certain players, and he'll fill me in on, why they took certain guys, and how he feels like the draft is going. So, yeah, I'm too involved in what I'm doing rather than looking at draft players or that kind of thing, or even the draft itself. Except I do have interest with the Vikings.
Well, and again, I mean, you probably know what's going to happen with their quarterback situation, but do you ever call them and say, "Why haven't you guys signed Justin Jefferson yet? What are you waiting for?"
Yeah, well, I'd sign him. I know that.
Well, I mean, because we talk about like with Dak and CD and Justin Jefferson. Why do NFL teams wait on guys that you think and know that they're going to sign and they're going to get these ridiculous contracts? What's the advantage of waiting?
Well, you don't have to pay them that money earlier. I mean, you wait as long as you can to pay them that money. that's just business. I'm assuming.
Even if it
Don't know how
costs
to-
you more, Coach, to wait?
I don't think it costs you more. I mean, I think you're going to pay, what big bucks to Jefferson whenever you get him. So I don't see it being costing more. They're gonna pay him a whole lot, and they probably know that. They probably have a set figure that they don't want to pay it until they have to. Most teams do that.
How does your son feel about J.J. McCarthy?
I hadn't really asked him about that.
Good
I
stuff.
tried, Coach.
Yeah,
I tried.
yeah, that's it. Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz. A road game against the Arlington Renegades this week, Saturday night, 6:00 up there in Dallas. I've seen some Brahma fans that say they're going to road trip up to the game in Arlington. Local fans here, I know there's a bunch of watch parties around town, including at all the Twin Peaks locations. But Coach, it's kind of a strange road game because you're in Arlington. This is the one road game where you don't actually have to travel anywhere, right?
That's right. You don't travel. The players all just drive to the game themselves. And but speaking of people coming, I mean, we had several players ask for 40 tickets or more.
Wow.
We'll have a few fans there.
Nice.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tickets.
Nice.
A lot of tickets. Now, 3-1. Tell us what you expect to see out of Arlington.
Well, we expect to see their best no matter what, whoever you play. But it's still about how you play, I mean, it's about Arlington to a certain extent, but it's really about us. If we can play like we played last week, if we play, solid offense, defense, and special teams, and play the way we can play, then we feel like we can win whoever we're playing against.
Very nice.
What when I think about Perez as their quarterback, and he's been around spring leagues, going back to the Alliance, he's an interesting quarterback with the various abilities. What challenges does he specifically from a defensive standpoint pose to you guys that you've got to take care of this week?
Well, he's a very smart quarterback, number one. He knows where to go with the football. He will pre-read a lot of the stuff, so you can't give things away as to what you're playing. He's obviously a talent. He won the national championship at A&M Commerce. He was national champ there, and then he came in. He's a backup quarterback for Vegas the whole season. They bring him in with 2 games left, and he wins the championship for a team that went 4-6 before he got there. So, he's a good player. He's a difference maker. He's a winner, is what he is. He's got good arm talent. But he's really smart and he's very accurate. And so he's a really. I have a lot of respect for him, and he's a great person. I've known him for a long time. I wish we would have had him last year, but he's a great kid, and I really respect the way he plays.
7 sacks this week, Coach. That's the goal.
Well, they've only been sacked 6 times, I think, or maybe 8 times. I don't know, but they've protected the quarterback pretty well. I mean, he gets rid of the ball quicker than most of the quarterbacks in the league.
So 7. I'm going with 7. That's my goal for your defense this week. 7 sacks.
Well, if we do that, then we don't have to worry about winning. We're going to win the game.
You're going to win the game. I think you're going to win the game regardless. You guys playing really good football right now. A road game in Arlington, not home again until May 19th, but tickets are still available. Plan for being there May 19th, because when you guys get back, a couple more wins and serious playoff push happening for those final 2 road games. And again, the watch parties here in town at a variety of places, including all the Twin Peaks locations. Coach Wade Phillips, always appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week with you guys being 4-1 after you get 7 sacks on Saturday night.
Well, we hope so. Great job, guys. You guys are great.
Appreciate it.
Coach.
The great Wade Phillips. Wednesdays with Wade here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com.